Hi, and welcome to the first lesson for the Getting Started with Farmers Markets Vendor Toolkit. This toolkit is made possible through funding by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Agricultural Marketing Service. The contents in this series are solely the responsibility of us, the authors, and do not necessarily represent the official views of the USDA. I'm Tammy Howard, and I'm excited to talk about considerations for selling at farmers markets with you today. I'm a horticulture specialist with the National Center for Appropriate Technology and the ATRA program. I work a lot with beginning farmers and on farm startup throughout the country. I also work with farmers market managers and vendors in Montana with the Montana Farmers Market Network. On your screen are some of the topics that I'm going to touch on in this first lesson. I will introduce you to farmers markets as a marketing channel, along with things you should consider carefully before you get started. Then finally, we'll consider ways to set yourself apart, especially in a busy marketplace. There will be more on that particular topic in lesson 2 that is being presented by Mary from the Community Food and Agriculture Coalition based out of Missoula, Montana. Farmers markets can be a low risk and easy to access marketing channel for a beginning farm or food producer. It can provide a way for you to build a customer base and to get your product name out there. While it might seem like an easy decision to sell at farmers markets, our team wants to help you understand and think about some important considerations before you start filling out those vendor applications. One of the most important things to consider about farmers markets is how selling at them is going to impact your time. Also important is, do you enjoy connecting with people and interacting with them? If you absolutely love that, then farmers markets can be a really great fit. Fortunately, farmers markets are a fairly low investment in terms of a marketing channel, with the exception of labor. If you live in a rural area, however, farmers markets may support your community and contribute to the economy, but it may be harder for you to meet those income goals at a farmers market alone. If you live in a location with a thriving local food scene, that can seem ideal, but you need to also carefully consider your competition in that situation. While farmers markets are a low-risk marketing channel in terms of providing a consistent supply, you're going to be most successful if you have a consistent and abundant product. So let's break down those considerations a bit more. If you're traveling long distances to get to a farmer's market, consider how that impacts your time. Another related consideration is whether you have an off-farm job. Selling at farmers markets can take a lot of time in terms of the preparation time, the travel time, and then the time that you're spending at the market. When you're looking for farmers markets, you can use a local food map, such as the one that is seen on your screen. That's at farmersmarketsmt.com. Or there is also a local foods guide in the Abundant Montana website. I also ask potential vendors to consider the financial reality of selling at farmers markets in small communities or rural areas. Folks might sell a small amount during the first few years as the market is getting established and until they get a consistent customer base and the market grows. I think this is sometimes a surprise for beginning producers. So if you need to make consistent money right away, you should try to diversify your marketing channels. Farmers markets require interacting directly with your consumer. If you identify more with the person on the left, then a marketing channel with less personal interaction is probably more appropriate. If you love interacting with your customer, however, even if they are grumpy, and you love talking and telling folks about your amazing product, then farmers markets can be a great fit. Production skills will set you apart from your competition. If you can identify gaps or ways to differentiate your product from others selling at the market, you can be successful. In this picture on the left, we see that a farm has season extension tools and several successions of lettuce. They will have a product earlier and later at the market, as well as a consistent supply of lettuce. These skills, along with an outgoing personality, can really help set you apart. And as I mentioned, farmers markets can be a low investment marketing channel, but a few investments are critical. Canopies help you keep your product shaded and fresh. If you're selling fruits and vegetables, they are a must. You also help delineate your space and create an inviting atmosphere with a canopy. Making an investment in your display will help you sell your product. Also consider how you will transport your product to ensure that it stays fresh. All of these are important resource considerations and should be applied when you're doing a cash flow for your various marketing channels. We'll have more information about display considerations in lesson 5 of this toolkit. So there are now more than 80 farmers markets throughout Montana. And as you can see from this map, they tend to congregate around the I-90 and Flathead corridors. The best place to find the most up-to-date listing of markets in your area is through Abundant Montana. I mentioned that in a previous slide. You can also list your farmer food business on Abundant Montana and list the markets where you sell. It's a great tool to utilize in your farmer's digital marketing strategy. For more information, check out my podcast with Aaron Austin, Using Abundant Montana Local Food Directory as a Strategy in this toolkit. In it, Aaron provides lots of tips and tricks about Abundant Montana vendor tools and digital marketing strategies. Once you've narrowed down the market where you want to sell, we suggest doing some market research and clearly identifying how you're going to set yourself apart. The first bit of market research is talking with a market manager. This can help you get acquainted with the types of products that are selling fast and any gaps in products that the market manager is observing. And you can listen to lesson 5 about communicating with a market manager in this toolkit from Omar Rodriguez. Another tip to consider is observing your customers. Go to different markets where you're considering selling and observe people buying a similar product to what you plan on selling. What are people responding to? What's lacking? An example that I always like to use is from a farm that I did a case study with in North Carolina, Tumbling Shoals Farm. When they were first starting out, they visited several farmers markets in the region where they were going to start farming. They observed at the time that there was very little in the way of produce during the shoulder season. So they decided to invest in a few hoop houses and were able to provide that niche of early and late season produce at the farmers markets when they eventually started selling there. Another tip in finding that market niche is to just ask your customer. Consider a dot survey like you see here on the left. This can be a quick and interactive way to find out information from the customers that you're selling to. Another way is to just ask your customers through a quick written or online survey. This can be helpful if you're considering another marketing channel, like if you have a community-supported agriculture program and you want, or a subscription program, and you want to start selling at farmers markets, a quick survey might be a good option to find out if you'll be successful there. Or if you're, conversely, if you're selling at a farmer's market and want to try another marketing channel, you can survey your customers at that particular market to find out if your new marketing channel is going to be successful. Now that I've given you some thoughts about selling at farmers markets, I encourage you to download the Tips for Selling at Farmers Markets tip sheet in the show notes below. It provides more details on the topics that I've talked about in this lesson. And it's only 2 pages and it's free. So that about wraps it up for this first lesson in getting started with farmers markets. Thanks for listening and feel free to reach out via email with any questions.